Hey guys, what's up? It's Lexi and your girl is back. This update's gonna be like 2 months worth of stuff. April was cool, and then the beginning of May, something started happening. I started getting sick. All the stuff that usually happens in the beginning when I'm like going through the paranormal stuff, all that stuff started happening. I just knew shit was about to go down. I'm also gonna give you guys like a little life update at the end. Anyway, let's just get right into it. This is gonna be a paranormal update number 7. I'm gonna try to do these in order, like a time basis. It might still be all over the place because I do want to do like the weird stuff and then like the scarier stuff, you know? Stuff and then like the scarier stuff, you know? In the month of May, I had uploaded a how I protect my energy video. And in that video, I was already sick. I was already kind of going through it, and then the common stuff started happening. The headaches, the bloodshot eyes, I was starting to feel really negative. All the stuff that happens when the veil thins in my house. I started feeling really weird energies in my house, and energies that really felt like they did not belong to me. Like I would be chilling and I would randomly feel angry, and then really emotional, really sad, and then really like guilty and shameful. And I kept chalking it up to my mental health. So I was like trying to take extra care of myself. I started hearing the knocking coming from outside of the house when I would lay down. Then I started hearing it like inside the house. It was always happening right before we'd go to bed too. The lights started flickering again. We'd hear footsteps outside, like right outside the door. And then we started hearing like talking, screaming outside. Like we'd hear screaming from like far away. But the talking, we would hear it like right outside the window. And it was just always fucking racket out there. Like the dogs were barking like crazy because they would hear it too. We started hearing footsteps like inside the house, right here in the kitchen. And I also started having night terrors where I would wake up like sweating and screaming and crying, always like being abandoned kind of dreams. It was fucking horrible. So all this is happening. I'm still trying to keep my house clean. I'm trying to keep myself cleansed, area cleansed, my car, everything. So this one night I'm sitting at the edge of the bed right here. It was just on my phone. Rob and Feather were not here. And while I'm sitting there, I start to feel the blanket under me start being pulled back. It was really slowly, but I can definitely tell. So I get up and I look around and I don't see anything. I thought maybe that something was on the blanket and was like weighing it down. Sit back down, I'm doing my thing. While I'm on the phone, it happens again. It's done a little harder. So I get up again and I look back and it stops again. Like kind of looking around like, do I see anything? Like something's like dragging the blanket. I didn't even think about it. I was like, I don't even want to deal with it, to be honest. So I went and sat in the living room. So a few days go by and I'm hanging out in the room in the same spot again. Rob and Feather are not here. They're out for the night. And I suddenly start feeling kind of uneasy. Like I start getting this weird gut feeling. And I start thinking like maybe I'm worried about Rob because he's out. So I'm sitting there and I had this long shirt on, like it's like down to my butt. I feel my shirt moving. So I go to stand up and for a split second I'm like halfway standing up. I feel like it's being held, like it's being held back, and then I like stand up all the way and it's let go. When stuff like this happens, your mind doesn't go straight into like, oh, it's paranormal. Like you always want to rationalize it. But truly, there's nothing on the bed. I wasn't sitting on it. There's nothing that caught my shirt. I was on the blanket. I was really confused. I was like, what the fuck is that? That's the second time now. And again, I ignored it, but I made a mental note of it this time. So another morning, something similar happened, but I was standing up. I was wearing that purple robe that I'm always wearing, and it was really early in the morning. I was getting ready for work. I'm in there doing my makeup, and I feel like the robe is being tugged. I'm thinking it's either me stepping on it or Feather is like on it, which is not even that long. I turn around, I don't see anything, right? I continue doing my makeup, and it happens again, but hard. So it gets tugged at really hard, and I don't know what came over me, but I turned around and I was like, you need to fucking stop. And I screamed. Like, yes, I did. I absolutely disciplined a fucking spirit, or whatever the fuck this was. But funny enough, that was the last time that happened. So this one night, me and Rob were sitting in the living room right next to the big window, and we always hear shit going on out there. So we're sitting together and we hear a whisper, a whole sentence being whispered. But we don't understand it. I don't understand what it is, and it was so close to us. Oh, my back. My back hurts.
Grow up.
We look at each other like to see, like, did you hear it? We look outside, no one's outside. We kind of start making a joke about it, like, oh, is it Feather? Like, is it the fridge? Another night, Rob and I were getting ready for bed, and it was hot. I remember it was so hot. I was wearing like a tank top and shorts. We had the fan on, and we were about to turn off the fan to turn on the AC. So we turn off the fan, start walking into the room, and it gets freezing cold. Like, freezing fucking cold in there. We are both very hot sleepers. We don't cuddle very often. That night was one of the worst fucking nights of my life. Like, I slept like shit. He slept like shit. We were trying to like cuddle each other for warmth. I wake up the next morning and I tell him like I had a horrible night. Like, I slept like shit. I couldn't fucking stop tossing and turning because I was so cold, and I had horrible dreams. Like, I had horrible dreams, and he's like, me too. Like, I slept like shit. I had really bad dreams too. I don't know if that's paranormal or not, but a few other things that were random, just too weird to explain. So we're in the kitchen. I think we were like cleaning the pantry. I'm on this side and Rob was on this side, and we're standing facing the same direction. This black towel just gets thrown in my face, but from this side. It gets thrown in my face, and I'm like, what the fuck? We weren't even like scared, we were just confused. Another thing like this happened. We're walking outside. He goes first to walk out the front door, and then I follow, and then the drawer where we keep our silverware, all of that stuff, it opens up and a fucking spoon jumps out at me. Like, it jumps in the air. I'm like, what in the fuck is that? Again, not scary, just very confusing. So that's like all of the weird stuff. Not super crazy, just really weird and like unexplainable. I've never been the type of person that would see shadow people very often. I have seen them a handful of times in my life, but never consistently. We started seeing them all the fucking time. Like, we'd see them out of the corner of my eye. We'd see them when I was driving, when I was at work, when I was here, out the window. So this one night, it was later in the day, but it was still kind of light. So like 6-7 p.m. I'm outside with Rob and we're smoking a cigarette. We're like just chatting it up, laughing. No reason for us to feel weird. We see something out of the corner of our eye where the side gate is. We both look in that direction, and I see something just standing there. It was a shadow. You can't see through it. It doesn't have any features, and it wasn't even that far away, but it's just there. And I look at it and I was so startled. Like, I was like, like, it took my breath away almost. So I looked away. I was like, oh, no thank you. I look up at Rob to see if he's seeing it, and he's looking at it like this. I look back and it's gone. And I look at him, I'm like, that was not normal. Like, that was not a person. So a few days later, it's around the same time, like dark, but still a little light outside. I'm talking to Rob, I'm in the room, and he's like, hey, I'm gonna go outside to smoke a cigarette, I'll be back. So he walks up to the front door. I'm not even paying attention to him. And again, he was never a huge believer. He believes like 50 to 75%. So a few seconds later, he comes back in. He has a weird look on his face. He kind of looks like this, like eyes all big, like, and I see him and he's like, babe, I saw something creepy outside, can you come outside with me? And I'm laughing, like, I'm 5'3", what am I gonna do, you know? So I'm like giggling, I'm like, yeah, I'll come outside with you. And I ask him, like, what did you see? So he says he was standing near the front door, the door was opened, and near the front door he sees a shadow. This thing was standing on the stairs. It's so hard to explain. So say this right here is the door. This is the stairs. He says that it was standing like this. He could see the legs, and it was really tall, and that he couldn't see the head because it was like this over the door. So this is his head. That's what he was seeing. So he saw the head bent over. That's what he saw. He said it had no features. It didn't look like a person. It was just black. He's like, I don't think I've ever felt that afraid. So this next thing happens end of May, beginning of June. And I don't know if these two things correlate, but I'm gonna say it anyway because it was fucking weird. But there's 2 nights in a row where Rob was working night shift, so he wasn't able to sleep with me. So I slept alone. On night 1, I go to sleep, I'm with Feather, and I have this ugly fucking dream of this hairy black thing. It's a hairy black thing, it's really dark, and the face is like a circle, and it's a face of an old man. Not an old man, but like 40s, 50s. It starts moaning and crying like a baby. And in my dream, I remember being so scared, I threw it, and then I woke up as Feather was barking at the dark, barking at nothing. It took me so long to go back to sleep, and I kept seeing that stupid fucking face in the dark. The next night, I'm not even thinking about anything scary. I just want to have a peaceful night. I knock out, and I was laying on my side, and I randomly wake up in a panic, sweating. I'm fucking panicking. I'm like, and I feel something from behind me. It felt like something was behind me, and it jumped over me and dashed like really fast, and it felt furry. It felt fuzzy. So in my mind, I was like, it's Feather. Like sometimes she sleeps on the pillow, but she almost never leaves the bed unless we wake up. I thought that she was sitting up on the pillow and that she hopped over my shoulder and just ran. I sit up and I was like, Feather, 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 get back over here. The fucking blankets start moving and Feather comes out from under the blankets. So I'm like, what the fuck just jumped over me like that? So I felt it. It was 100% like fuzzy and hairy and small. Was it that fucking doll that I had a dream of? So June 16th comes around, and that is when I film a video called Life with BPD. I explained in that video that I had planned to film that entire day, and when I was driving to work that same morning, I had encountered a like 4-car accident. It was really, really bad. And one of the cars was a big brown Mercedes SUV, and just looking at it, I knew there was no way that that person was okay. Like I didn't know if somebody could survive that, and my heart sunk for them, and I started getting really, really emotional. And I don't want to be disrespectful to the person that passed at all. Like I don't want to use this as like just a story time when this is somebody's life we're talking about. And for some reason, that brown SUV kept jumping in the foreground of my mind. Like I kept thinking about it all day, and I would get super emotional. So I drive past the accident, I'm feeling uneasy, but I get to work. And I am a dispatcher at a tow company. So one of the guys had said that he drove past it, and that sure enough, someone did end up passing away. So that same day, I was sitting at my desk. There's a window right next to my desk. I kept seeing a tall figure in the corner of my eye, like he was walking towards the parking lot where my car is. And I looked over and he was gone. I saw that multiple times that day. When I was on my way to my car so I could go home, I would keep walking down the cul-de-sac, and I kept seeing something following me like pretty close by. And then randomly I kept seeing little things like floating in my peripheral, and I'd look and it would be gone. So that same night I went home, I fell asleep, and I was sleeping on my back. I was not close to Rob or Feather. It's not like I was sleeping on my ear or anything. I heard the sound of a heartbeat right next to me, like in both ears, and I kept hearing it, and then it just stopped. I wasn't able to go back to sleep after that. I slept like shit. I wake up the next morning, and then something else had triggered me, having to do with a family member. I went to work, I had a whole panic attack, I was sent home. After that incident, I ended up staying home from work for a few days just to kind of like figure out everything that was going on. And at this point, I really thought that my mental health was like at its lowest. After that, things are continuing to happen. We're still seeing like shadow people at the corner of our eyes. We're hearing the knocking here and there. We're hearing bangs, not only on the bathroom walls where it usually happens, but like in the rooms. At this point, I start hearing footsteps inside the house. So this one night, I'm in the living room. I'm sitting at the table with Feather. I think Rob was already asleep, but I'm sitting at the table and I feel something brush up against me, and I hear really light footsteps, just a few footsteps, and then it stops. Every time that I would hear it, I would try to record it, and as soon as I took my phone out, or as soon as I would unlock my phone and go to camera, it stopped. I have a clip. I'll see if I can like show it if I catch anything. Oh no. Look at her.
Say hey, hey.
So this one night, I was coming in from being outside. I come in to walk in towards my room. I look up and I see a figure of a man in my room, and it looked like he had just walked out of the closet and starts walking across and just vanishes because there's nowhere to go. There's just a wall. Like by the time I had looked up, he was already halfway across. Like he came out of this side, he was like right here, and then just kept walking like nothing, just chilling. I look back there and I freeze. I'm like, did I actually see that, or am I tripping? I'm really tired. I had a rough week. Also, I wasn't super scared by it either. It was just startling to see something like that. So this one day, I'm sitting in bed and I had just woken up. I'm kind of like looking down at my phone. I look up, I'm facing towards the living room, and I see a young boy. It has to be the same boy that I saw coming out of the closet at the end of the living room, and he was turning. When I looked up, he was mid-turn, starting to walk this way, and then just vanished before my eyes. Like I blinked and he was gone. I heavily prayed after that. For some reason, talking about it still gets me emotional. But whatever was here left. So it's no longer here. So since then, we've seen a few shadow people here and there. I see them at work all the fucking time. I don't know why. Yesterday morning, I was sitting in this very spot and I heard something, like a rustling noise next to me, and I saw something white moving up and down. It was a weird shape. It wasn't a circle. It was a weird shape, and it was moving up and down. I could still hear the noise. The white thing was gone, and there's nothing white over here. And since then, that's pretty much all that's happened so far. Like I said, I heard that like weird talking and screaming yesterday, and I tried to record it. But that's pretty much what's been going on. My next video is most likely going to be tattoo tour. I also want to give like a few scary stories that I want to add in. And also, I'm going to go on vacation in 2 weeks. I'm going to Mexico. I'm going to Querétaro. And I wanted to start off with this city in particular because some of the scariest videos that I've seen and the scariest stories that I've heard have all happened in this city.
So today I'm going to be talking about Santiago de Querétaro, Mexico.
I'm gonna try to film out there and see if maybe some of my family can like tell their paranormal stories. So I'm really excited for that. I'm so excited to show you guys. But I'm also very nervous. Like, I'm very nervous. Every time I tell somebody that I'm going, they're like, that's scary. You're gonna get kidnapped. I'm like, stop telling people they are going to be kidnapped when they go on vacation. Stop doing that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys want to send me some prayers, I would love that. I really would. So happy to be filming again. So I love you guys. I'll see you soon and stay safe. See you later. Bye.